All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Foreign and Domestic. And you guys will notice and realize that we are on a Sunday night instead of a Monday night. And for anyone who was not a part of the last Sunday night chat with TR was kind enough to pass the baton to myself and AllenBePro. Jan is gay. So we are kindly taking the realm of the Sunday night roundtable. We will keep it the Sunday night roundtable. I think it's only fitting to keep it that way, and we will keep it where there's actually a lot of structure. Just for TR, I want to make sure that we keep some sort of structure. So as in traditional fashion, Blue 823 is actually here and joining us on the panel, and I am honored to have Blue 823 with us.
Well, thanks for the invite. As always, unlike other people that say that they're going to be here, I actually show up. So I don't know where TR's at. It's hard to tell. Sometimes he falls asleep. Sometimes he's out with a woman. But if he can get in here, he will be in here. But good to see the torch passed on to another fine channel. I'd do it myself, but there again, one of those deals with my work is if somebody finds the chats that I'm doing that kind of could probably play badly, so I just jump on other people's chat. So good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Good to have you, brother. I'm glad you could jump in. Really appreciate you being here. And then we have the wonderful. Well, he ain't really wonderful, but he considers himself wonderful because, Jan is gay. So Jan is gay.
Thank you, Scotsman. Thank you. It's an absolute honor to fill this slot. This has been held by TR for 2.5 years. It has a long, lustrous history before that. And it's just an absolute honor that he handed off this baton to us. And tonight's another historical night for the foreign and domestic.
It is big time. And just if you guys don't know, I want to make sure you guys get this right off the bat. The ATF sucks. All right. Oh, and we have another fantastic YouTuber reloading from the hot pot. Gene, what is up, brother?
Hey, what's up? It's Gene coming to you with reloading from the hot pot. Finally got the link.
There we go, man. I don't know what happened with Gmail. Guys, I apologize for the late start. We are on TR time, so you can't fault me too much. But I was having issues. I sent everyone links in Gmail, and apparently Google is screwing with us, and I had to do it the long way and go into YouTube and PM everybody, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Well, so yeah, I kind of went to the whole TR struggling with crap and all that good shit. So there you go.
It's all good. It's all good.
At this point, the YouTubes are appearing to be messing with a lot more of the gun channels once again.
Yeah, I would say they're definitely messing with Gmail, man. I sent everyone I probably sent 30 links and no one got a single damn one.
Yeah, I kept checking mine.
Hold on, hold on. I'm sorry. I am honored to have Rick. Is your six covered on the first foreign and domestic Sunday night roundtable? What's up, brother?
I appreciate the invite. I'm glad you guys have taken over the reins, and congratulations. And love to see how it continues on, and see if we can turn this thing into a train wreck as always. No, congratulations, you guys. It has been 2.5 years. TR's been. It's a lot of work, I'm sure, for him to haul ass from work and get all that set up. So he's probably getting some mini vacation every Sunday now.
Yeah, I know how it is, man. Like for Monday, for me, was a struggle because I'd get off around 8:30, 8:45, and got to be home by 9 to get the chat going. And it's a pain in the ass. Works 10 minutes away. I got 5 minutes to set up the chat and go.
Yeah, there'd be times when I'd text TR and I'd be like, hey, and he's like, I'm hauling ass home. I haven't made it yet. I'll send the links when I get home. You know, and it'll be 10 minutes till me and Blue will be friggin', where you at?
Yeah, Sunday works out a lot better for me. It gives me about 2.5 hours to get shit set up and organized.
Well, cool. Again, congratulations. And glad to see you guys taking over the reins. So, cool.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you showing up. And contrary to popular belief of what is expected of the foreign and domestic channel, yes, there's going to be structure. There will be some structure. There will be some politics. I have some things to talk about.
Well, we've got a lot of things that has happened and conspired over this past week. There is plenty of material for us to mull over here and solve the world's problems.
All right, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to do a screen share. I'm going in Rich 1911 style. So here we go. I'm going to screen share this shit. All right, so we are going to talk about airlines pull partnerships with the NRA amid gun control controversy. So apparently there has been a lot of airlines that are, hold on, sorry, problems with the damn computer. There's a lot of airlines, Delta, United, and a few others that are pulling their support of the NRA because of all the shootings that have happened. What do you guys think about that?
What do airlines have to do with the shootings that have happened?
I can tell you this much, at least as far as I know as of now, when I first saw the thing, I know Delta was on there, possibly American Airlines, I'm not sure. I fly Southwest a lot, and I'm glad at least I haven't seen it personally, them on the list. So, because if they're on the list, it's going to be hard not to use them, you know. But, yeah, so far I'm glad that they're not on the list.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it was Delta and American Airlines were the two main ones that they pointed out for this. And essentially one of the things that those companies have provided the NRA is just discount flying, not only for some minor NRA members, but for a lot of the board members, everything else they were getting discount flights. And at this point, they don't want to be affiliated with the NRA anymore, because they're jumping on that liberal bandwagon, I guess. And so they're pulling their support. They weren't donating to the NRA; they were just giving discount flights, to my knowledge. And so they pull their funding. NRA is just going to have to put out a little bit more for flights.
Yeah, and Smile Money's out there. He's saying car rental companies are doing the same thing. So
Hertz is one of them. Hertz is a division of one of those companies. I forget which one it is off the top of my head, but yeah, Smile Money's dead on. Hertz is one of the companies that is involved in that as well.
Does anybody know what the actual discount was, like for like just a regular NRA member? Like, are they like holding?
I will tell you from past history that I know of, about 5%.
So it's not a big chunk of change at all.
No, not at all.
Not for the smaller members, for board members and so forth. I believe it was a little bit more, but it wasn't huge. Home Runner is also spot on out there. There was two more that I had also forgot about. Enterprise Rent-A-Car is one of them, and the insurance company MetLife. MetLife also has pulled their stuff from the NRA as well.
At the end of the day, though, if it's NRA and it's these big board members, they're probably not paying for the frickin' ticket anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, there's another way to look at it. Maybe the airlines are on board with everybody else with what the NRA is doing. I mean, just a different side.
Sure.
Yeah,
We want that. We want different opinions. It's a good point.
Yeah,
Very good point.
I like to think positive about things. Try to keep a positive attitude that some things happen for reasons, and that could be, probably not, but could be. Never know.
Am I the only black sheep here, or am I one of the only panel members that am not a member of the NRA?
My membership is getting ready to expire. I'm not going to renew it, and I did join the GOA.
Yes.
All right. So unfortunately, Blue, I had to just for my job. I didn't fucking want to, but for reasons that are necessary for what I do, I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the NRA can go suck a fat one and eat a bowl of dicks. Because I really don't want to be there. I don't want to be a part of them. Unfortunately, I am. However, I am a part of a lot of other associations that actually do a lot of good. I'm part of the Smith & Wesson Association. I'm a part of the MGCA. I'm a part of the M1 Garin Association. So I mean, I've got a lot of different things I'm a part of that actually do a lot of good. NRA, not so much, but unfortunately, it's kind of I had to do it for my job. So
they call that an evil necessity. It's kind of like doing the chores for the wife.
Exactly. A lot of local ranges in, at least the ones in California that I was a member of, made you be a member of the NRA. And at the time, I didn't mind. They weren't in. It wasn't a big bucket of controversy.
All right. So the only reason I'm a member of the NRA now is because for my position, my job, not my position, but for my job, part of what I do is I got to be out there on the range and help out on the range every now and then. Well, in order to be 100% certified and classified as a completely certified RSO, it has to be through the NRA and through their program and through another program at the same time. And without both of them, technically, I'm not a certified RSO. So unfortunately, I had to, for that stupid ass reason, join fucking NRA.
Well, the home runner brings up First National Bank of Omaha, and banking is something that I want to touch on a little bit later. But with the NRA topic that we've got going on at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and screen share something else that involves the NRA with this here. And so the NRA and Donald Trump appear to part ways on raising the age to buy a rifle. So there's this talk by our president to raise the age to buying a rifle to 21, and the NRA is opposing that. So if it actually holds water or not, we will eventually find out. But Trump said that it should all be at least 21. And the NRA is opposing that particular statement. So if they're parting ways over it, we'll find out in the long run.
Well, in my opinion, for as long as I've done this and been in this industry, I don't think making the age gap that much larger would hurt whatsoever. And you guys can get pissed at me if you want to, but honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing to raise that up a little bit, because think about this, and this is my point to it. A lot of kids these days are not raised the same way as we were. We were all raised with a fucking iron fist. These kids are not. They are raised with fucking participation awards. I'm sorry, but I ain't giving you no fucking participation award. If you fucking lose, you lose. Period. Man up, get better, and fucking win. And if you can't be good at it,
I have to agree with you, Scotsman.
where's Pops Quest when you need them? If you can't be good at it.
I have to agree with you, Scotsman. I seen a kid come in the gun shop when I was in there. He was 17. I'm going to be 18 next month. And he started pointing. I went, that rifle and that shotgun and that rifle and that rifle and that rifle. And I'm just like, you're 17 years old. You're already picking out your gun collection, and that, and just mentally, just talking to him, he didn't seem like he needed anything right then.
That would have been me at 17. I was like, I can't wait to own that. That's going to be badass. I want one of those.
All right, so Southern Style 357 puts out a good point, and I'm gonna make a statement to this point too. He said he's good with it so long as you have to be 21 to join the military. Well, you know what? I give a little bit more benefit to an 18-year-old that is willing to step up and serve the country and actually have a pair of balls. So, I kind of agree with your point, but at the same time, I don't, because those guys have kind of earned the right. They've actually got the right attitude. They got the right mentality, and they're less likely to be one of these dumb little shits that goes out and do something stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, but guys, at the end of the day, it's not age. It's not age. It's mentally mature enough to own and handle
and that was my point. That was my point, though.
I wouldn't mind selling a gun to a 16-year-old that was a competitive shooter that knew all the safety rules, went out and shot every Thursday. I don't know if you saw the one video of Hayden was his name, and little cool kid. And he's probably only 11, but him and his dad, they've been shooting for a long time. He's well versed in gun safety.
So we got Blue with us. Blue, you teach your kid properly. He knows. I've watched his videos. SoCal Killer, right?
Something like something SoCal Killer, yeah.
SoCal Killer. Check him out. He's a good kid. He practices right. He learns from Blue. Blue teaches him right, and he makes some good videos. It's cool stuff. But Blue actually, he takes the time and teaches right. So, Blue, what's your opinion on this?
Boy, this is actually it's a rough one, because a lot of people out in the side chat and you guys have made a lot of good points about being 18. If you're old enough to die for your country, you're old enough to go out and buy a rifle. In there again, you're looking at the opposite of it. If you give some spoiled rich little brat that has absolutely no idea what the hell they're doing, and all of a sudden they're just like, well, I'm 18 or I'm 21 and I want to go out and buy this rifle, what's the age difference actually going to make? I don't think between the age of 18 and 21 there's any maturity actually gained there. I think that is a law that makes people an adult at 18, 21 for a lot of states to drink. And then you got to look at that too. You have the same individual. Now they're allowed to, for the first time, legally consume alcohol. And, now they're going to be getting their hands on rifles, which they can get their hands on pistols. It doesn't matter.
So
it's all in the head.
So let's flip this conversation and go with, all right, so legally in any state, you got to be 21 to buy a pistol. So this is where they're going with this rifle conversation is, should we raise the age to 21 just like we do with a pistol? So what are your thoughts on a pistol?
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It's like everybody's been saying, it's up to the upbringing, the mental capacity of the individual, and the training. I don't care what age it is. You could raise it to 35. You raise the age to 35, you're going to have the same issues that you have if you sell it to an 18 or 21-year-old.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the reason I agree with that is look at fucking Vegas. How old was that guy? He was what, 40-something? 50-something?
He was up there.
Yeah, he was older than.
Yeah, he was up there. And it's, again, mental capacity, just like Blue said, it's not an age. It's not a number. It's being raised the right way, being taught the right things, and learning. That's all it is.
One of the things that they did here in Iowa just a little bit ago is they raised the age in which you were allowed to teach your child how to use a handgun. Prior to it, you could not put a handgun in your own child's hand if they were under 16 years old. They classified it as a felony, and so that just recently had changed over the past 6 months here in Iowa, to where now it allows either the parent or a certified instructor to be able to teach children over the age of 13 how to use handguns.
See,
All right, so
my kid.
I have a very So I was watching the news earlier at work, and I stopped for just a second. I was in the members lounge and it happened to be on, and it pissed me off. And the reason it pissed me off was because it's not because they were talking negatively about guns. It's because they had a fucking child on there that had no fucking clue what they were talking about. Talking about we shouldn't have armed security. We shouldn't have this. And her father there at the same time. And both of them agreeing on all these different factors that they don't truly understand. With that being said, I'm going to do another screen share. We are having structure, so get used to this, guys. There's going to be structure. So Congress has ideas on gun violence, but no consensus. And you see a whole bunch of freaking students right here. Why are students making any kind of political view when it comes to guns? They shouldn't be. They're not old enough. They don't understand. Maybe they do to some degree, but we're talking about protecting the lives of the upcoming future of our country. Thoughts?
I think we moved on too fast, Mr. Structure.
We can go back. Let's go back, Rick. Go ahead.
Well, the point, what is it, Ohio? For a state to tell me when I can let my kids learn how to shoot, they can go fuck themselves. My kid's been shooting for years now. You know, my oldest one is 15 and my youngest is 13, and shit, they've been behind a pistol for a long time. It's not their job to tell me as a parent when they're mature enough and safe enough to handle a firearm. First off,
can I ask you a quick question? And this is a serious question. Are they taller than you?
My son is, yeah. Oh, you know what? Eat a bowl of dicks, by the way.
Yeah, and that was one of the major arguments here in Iowa was who's the government to tell me how to parent my own child? And it was a huge thing. It took forever to get through the Iowa Congress, but it actually finally went through. And so, you know, it was a win for the people out there that want to teach their kids, take the curiosity completely out of the equation, which is one of the factors in child accidents with firearms, and teach them what it is, how to use it, and how it destroys things.
Well, Rick, growing up here in Ohio, I was taught how to control guns from very early age. From my first Johnny West, you remember that character? My first Johnny West play set with the holsters and the cap guns. I was taught how to handle a gun right away, and my grandfather did this on purpose. So as soon as I was old enough to fire a real gun, we were outside of town shooting in the creek, you know, and I've grown up with it.
And as a father, when my kids were small, I tried to not do the whole like squirt gun, you know, everything was considered a real gun. Like they never ran around with like plastic fake guns, because there was on occasion, but they had to pretend that those were real guns. You never pointed it at everybody, you know, all the same rules. And I would watch Trigger Finger, and I would watch you know, all that stupid stuff that you probably shouldn't when they're real little. But think of all the kids that are losing out in that state of Ohio that could enjoy shooting so much that ends up being their profession. And then at the end of the day, they have to say, well, I didn't get to start shooting guns till I was, 16 or 18 or whatever it is. Look at the chick, that awesome little shooter. I can't remember what her name was. And this video came out years ago. Now she's probably a lot older. She shoots competitive 3 guns. She was kicking ass. I'm sure you guys have seen the video. It's been out for quite a few years. And she was running around just slaying targets. What would you think of? That was in Texas, by the way, I believe. Just to even say that a state is going to tell you when your kids, should have the right or the ability legally.
Well, here's the biggest point. Constitution. It doesn't say anything about age. You see that right there? The Second Amendment says 0 about age. You see any numbers right there? There's no numbers.
That's
true. It just says we have the right to bear arms against to have a well-regulated militia to make sure that the government cannot control us, period. Doesn't say anything about age, not a single freaking word. There's no numbers, nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big I don't know if component's not the word, but a big advocate of getting your kids out there and shooting earlier the better.
Well, I mean, look at for example, a good example, the Collier Gun Girls.
Yeah, awesome. They shoot great.
They are, I forget how old they are. They're like, what, 9 and 12, I think? Somewhere in there.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah, they're in that age bracket. They shoot handguns, they shoot competition, and they do a fantastic job. Their father's raising them right. I'm pretty sure the mother's obviously involved with that too, but I only ever see the father in the videos. But they're raising them right. They're doing it right. And I'm sorry, but I don't see these kids ever flipping off and going in and start blowing up someplace,
No. And most of the time when I'm a range officer during like the IDPA competitions, most of the time the kids have a way better concept of safety than, like, say someone that just decided they wanted to shoot IDPA, say they're 25 years old or whatever, and they're all, oh, that looks like fun, and they'll go. The whole concept has been drilled into those young ones, at least with the good parents teaching them about gun safety and all that. I mean, their fingers off the trigger as they're transitioning to the next target. I mean, you almost see a better, perfect example of gun safety with the younger age ones because it's been honed into them so much because, compared to a guy off the street that's just going to try it out for the first time. They've basically had some nurturing. They're not just showing up and deciding, no, I want to try this out. Their parents are have been kind of honing or sharpening.
Oh, I mean, I get it. I get it. The store at the range.
You probably see it all the time.
They come in and they say, hey, how old does the kid have to be to shoot? How old do they have to be to shoot a pistol? Well, we can't hand them a pistol, but you can hand them your pistol because you are of age and you are consenting to making sure that your child is going to take care of that pistol. So long as they can see over that stall and they're above the stall height, where the bench is on the height of the stall, they can shoot.
Good.
That's fair. That's fair.
And just to give you a rough example, the height of that stall is above the height of Rick.
I was just going to ask that. Are you
tall enough to ride this ride? 7 foot tall guy.
Anybody
that's shorter than 6'2" is a midget, I guess.
If anyone needs confirmation, Reloading from the Hot Pot was at my range, and he can tell you right now that it is taller than Rick. Is your 6 covered?
Wow.
I'll just shoot under the table.
That's almost like Hobbit height.
All right.
Quit picking on the midgets, 357 said. That's right.
He can say all he wants. All right. So this is an interesting one. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna do another screen share, and guys can get pissed at me all you want for screen shares. I'm trying to have some structure here tonight. I'm trying to do TR the honor and the justice of giving me the Sunday night chat, giving me
Don't
and
screw this up, by the way.
Janice Gay the honor of the Sunday night chat. So don't take that the wrong way, Janice Gay. All right, so guys, look at this. This editorial is from Canada, and this guy is talking about, they're not American, obviously, because they're in Canada, but they're talking about the freedoms in which Canada and the American people enjoy the Bill of the Rights of the Constitution. This guy is talking about the freedoms that we have and how they're trying to, jump on top and take away the freedoms that we're supposed to have per the original government when they first came in, when the Constitution itself. This guy's from freaking Canada, and he is blowing up the internet. He's got a whole story going on right here. He's got comments left, right, and center that some are good, some are bad. But he sees what's going on here and is stepping up and doing the right thing. So when you got someone else like myself who's from another country who comes in, does it right, and I've been in this industry now for almost 8 years. And for me, I've seen it from one point to another point, from the low to the highs. I've seen all these different ones where, ARs went from the low price to the high dollar price. They jumped, they fell, they're back down again. Ammunition prices fly up, skyrocket, bottom down, all of it. I've been through all of that stuff. And for me, being an outsider, and you can take that however you want, and Bald and Curious, I know you're going to make a fucking comment. Go fuck yourself. For me, being an outsider and coming into this country and dealing with this and learning this and understanding this more than most Americans do. And guys, don't take that the wrong way, but I know a lot more than most Americans do when it comes to this stuff, because it is my job, because it's what I've done. But it's crazy to see other people from outside. So this guy from Canada jumping in and supporting us here in America and supporting our Second Amendment rights. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
There's a Chinese emperor many centuries ago by the name of Shen Kai-shek, and he wrote a book that was dedicated to how you control a society. And the very first thing in that book was you remove their weapons. Then you follow it up with controlling word of mouth, and you follow that up with controlling healthcare, and you control a society. So removing weapons, the number one thing that any government will ever need to be able to control their society.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to interrupt real fast. You can remove guns all you want. It will not stop any nation standing up and saying, fuck you. It will not. And the reason I say that is, for example, back home, we don't have guns that much back home. You know what we do have, and what we have a lot of access to, is knives. And knife crime is beyond freaking ridiculous back home. And I always love it when a fucking little liberal snowflake tries to start an argument with me and say something about, well, get rid of all guns, because guns are the problem. And I go, hey, you do realize that I'm not from here, and trust me, you get rid of guns, guess what? I got something else I can use. Wake the fuck up. Wake up. Guns are not the problem. The people that have the guns, that have problems, are the fucking problem. They weren't raised right. They don't have the right mentality. Those are the ones that have the issues. If they were raised right, if they weren't little freaking snowflakes, if they actually got a fucking spanking once and every now and then when they freaking needed it and grew a pair of nutsacks, they'd actually be all right.
Well, and I totally agree with what you're saying. One of the things that we're not that I'm thinking about it also is there is going to be the people that are normal. They're going to pass the background check. You know, everything's going to be good. And then for some reason, their life goes to shit. Something happens. Maybe their chemical imbalance goes to fuck, and they're going to do something stupid. You know, and they're going to try to hurt somebody for some unknown godly reason. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. But in order to stop that person, you still have to have another person with a gun that can use it correctly in order to stop that person. So at the end of the day, background checks, all that stuff, you know, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the stuff we have in place right now will work. But with that said, people do go off the fucking deep end, you know, and the only way to fix that problem is to slow down the death toll by taking that person out faster, because there's someone there has a permit or whatever the case is that can stop that person.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out there on the flip side and take it for what it's worth. We have a lot of military service members that come home. They've served their country. They come home. They are suffering. They don't get the help they need. And for whatever reason, they take their own life. Now, they use that terrible weapon to take their own life. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the media will put it in the site that they are mentally deficient in some sort or have a mental issue, when really it's the spoils of war. They have problems because of what they've dealt with, what they've seen. Blue can probably talk to this more than anyone on this chat, just because Blue kind of sees that on the streets where he's at. He sees a lot of shit. But, you know, what do you guys kind of think on that perspective of it? You know, put it on the flip side a little bit.
What was the actual question? There was a lot of stuff in there, and then the question kind of got drained out.
Well, what it basically is so you got all these service members that are coming home. They have a lot of issues because of what they've done, what they've seen. And they end up taking their own lives using a firearm, and the media portrays that in a bad way and portray them as being mentally deficient and basically put them in the stack with all these other people that have issues, that have gone out and committed a horrendous crime.
Go Blue. I got an answer if you don't.
No, you go ahead, because it's completely two different things. If you're going to commit suicide, you know, God love our service members, but however you commit suicide is how you're going to do it. But to lump that into a gun crime or a gun statistic is ridiculous. But go ahead, Rick.
Well, I see the problem as this. You come back from the battlefield, and they supposedly put you through it's, you know, like a critical incident stress debriefing, basically, right? Well, you have two options. You can tell them that you're not feeling good. Things are, you know, I need help, right? They say they need help. They know at the end of the day, they're probably going to lose their Second Amendment because of that. And like for me personally, that means not everything, because obviously family is more important, but it is right there. I mean, I enjoy shooting so much that it would crush me if I was no longer allowed to own a firearm. So when you come off the battlefield, those guys are going, I have two options. I say they enjoy shooting. They can't even say that they're feeling bad or something's up or they're not, because the fact is they would lose that. They would lose their ability, something that they enjoyed doing prior to going into the service per se. They're not going to do that shit. I know I wouldn't if I came back from the battlefield and I knew I was fucked up. I mean, I got guys that'll come off an incident and see some gnarly traffic accident and some body parts and shit like that, and you'll ask them, is everything cool? And we kind of kid as a way to get, kind of release the stresses per se. But at the end of the day, they're probably still a little bit in there. You're always going to have to deal with shit, some goblins that are stuck in your head. It's a smell that'll.
And my biggest point to this was that the media and the government, when they throw out numbers and say there's X amount of deaths due to guns, they take all these numbers of these suicides and they throw them in there and they don't tell you what they are.
They do the same thing with school shootings. Have you seen that shit within the last 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
And a kid walked into a school and shot himself. That's considered a school shooting. Some gang in Chicago drives down the road and shoots into a school building at 2 o'clock in the morning, or they're shooting at somebody near the school campus and a couple windows get busted. That's considered a school shooting. The big number, what was it, 18 school shootings since the beginning of the year? And if you actually break it down to actual student involved trying to do harm or violence to another school student during a school activity or school time, is 5, 6? It's still way too many. I mean, 5 or 6, don't get me wrong, is way too many, but they're blowing it out of proportion. Same thing as what you're talking about. Lump everything into one big group so that we can make that statistic sell the news headline.
No, here's the biggest thing. And real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to the ATF Sucks. He's out in the side chat. Dude, fucking awesome shirt. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I actually got to meet the man.
He's a cool ass dude, man. Cool ass dude. If you don't know him, go check him out. There's a bunch of you out there watching. Go check him out. Anyway, there's my shout out for you, brother. No, it's sad. They do this. They clump all this shit together. But what they don't do is they don't talk about, for example, where Tomo is and Otenda is like Chicago and all the fucking mass murders and shit that happens there. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about all those freaking commie freaking states that have all this shit going on where the gun crime is huge. And the gun crime is huge. Why? Because they don't have the right to carry. They don't have any carry permits, or it's very hard to get a carry permit. And so the amount of people the legal citizens that can carry a firearm, is a minimal number. And so the gun crime is freaking huge. But you never ever hear that on the fucking news.
Well, we did have Big Al jump into the side chat and give some breaking news. Apparently there's been a bomb in England go off in a convenience store. Just another testament. It's not the guns. If they're going to do something, they're going to find another method. You take away the guns. England is basically a gun-free country, and they're going to find other methods. Banning the guns is not going to work. It's not the answer. Other methods will be found.
Exactly. Knives, bombs, cars, it don't matter. If you're evil, you can make evil happen no matter what you have.
And that's it. Evil will do what evil wants to do, no matter what. All right. So we've covered politics. Let's make this a little bit more of a fun chat. Let's jump away from politics. We spent the last a good amount of time on politics. It's been a good chat so far. We got a lot of viewers out there, and I appreciate each and every single one of you guys showing up. So thank you very, very much. I know I'm not counting as much in the side chat. I got a lot going on here, so forgive me.
Scotsman, I do have two more things that I want to throw out there real quick.
Sure, go for it.
There's kind of a liberal reporting agency, we'll call it USA Today, and their poll says Americans want tougher gun laws, but don't expect Congress to act. So, I mean, that's a good headline, interesting article, and the fact is they're not Congress isn't going to act on a knee-jerk reaction, is basically what the article entails. I'll skip right over, just in the time of Prevy here, to an article that discusses Bank of America taking aim at gun-making clients. Bank of America is like the second largest bank in the United States, and they're making communications with clients who make, quote, assault rifles. The ones that actually do make rifles for the military, but also for other manufacturers that just make semi-automatic rifles. They're talking to them. First National Bank of Omaha says that it will not renew its contract with National Rifle Association, and they had an NRA branded Visa card, but First National Bank of Omaha isn't going to renew that contract. But Bank of America, being one of the big giants out there, also is looking at getting in on this action as well. So just a couple of other little blurbs that I wanted to shoo out there before we got completely off the political topic. And
we'll get back to the political topic. I have one other link, but I'm not going to share that right now. We're gonna steer away from that for just a minute, and I'm calling a gun check.
Well, tonight I'm riding shotgun. So I got the 870 with the Trinity Force tactical gear and the follower and a couple other doodads.
It looks like Blue's got the finger.
Yeah, if I go 10 feet that way, I have an AR, a 243, a 22. I'm a shot. What is that? That's the 12 gauge Remington. I mean, I'm good to go, but I just don't want to get up to get it.
But Blue, I'm pretty sure that if we ask your kid, they'd be afraid of the finger also.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Plus, I'm ready for bed, man. I got my hoodie on. I got my night pants on.
Hold on. You gotta realize who his kid is. His kid is so cow killer. You gotta be careful, man. You gotta watch that kid.
Yes, indeed.
He's a badass little kid.
I'll let you just wonder what the other part is.
Are you in the commie state of California?
No, fuck no.
Then why ain't you showing your damn gun?
I'm too lazy to go get it.
Yeah, same thing. It's 10 feet away, but I ain't getting it.
I got one that's
it's probably like a half a foot away. With him.
I'll do you a solid. Hold on.
He's too short to reach it. All right, reloading from the hot pot. What do you got, brother?
Well, I seen Blue trying to steal my finger there. Today we're packing the CZ P10C on the hip. Yes. Nice. Isn't that beautiful? Ah, it's wonderful.
CZ life, baby. CZ life. I like it.
I'm gonna go a little different today. I'll use this little magic bag right here.
All right, I'm not gonna go different. I'm just gonna go as normal. I have my big bore, my daily carry. Thank you. Yep.
Very nice.
How about this one? That'll work. There's your gun check.
Almost nothing better than an AR in a bag.
How fast can you assemble it and actually shoot it before someone starts shooting at you?
I'm too short. I can't reach the pins.
That was my point exactly.
I figured I'd just beat your dumbass to it.
You must be this tall to ride the ride.
Yeah, Rick don't qualify.
Hey, I'm like 5.
Dude, be honest. You get excluded from a lot of things just because,
I'm 5'8". Short, tall, depends who you are. If you're a midget, I'm fucking Shaquille O'Neal.
It kind of sounds like a fishtail to me.
Yeah, it sounds like one to me too.
What, 5'8"?
Scotsman, I got to ask you a question.
Fire away, dude.
The elephant in the room from the last week, are you not addressing it because I am here with the 4 sheriff's deputies that failed to enter a high school that was being shot up?
No, fire away.
No, I just we all know the story. It's what the fuck.
Sorry, I'm sorry, man. I'm not always in the loop. I apologize. I'm not always in the loop. I don't have TV. I don't watch the news. I rarely ever see news unless I stumbled upon it earlier when I was in the members lounge. I don't watch fucking TV. I get my news from you guys.
You're too tall. You can't see the TV.
That's right. I'm over the fucking TV. You're like fucking go like this.
On that
I know a little bit of this story, but I don't know the details. I don't know that much about it. What I do know is that there was an officer on campus, I suspect in full kit, that not only made no effort, but didn't even enter the building. And altogether, there was 4 of them. Give us some insight here, Blue.
Well, that's the news story going around. Just a couple days after the shooting down in Florida, it was all about one school resource officer that was out near the car when it started and never engaged, never went in. But now that a couple days have gone by and all the reports are starting to come in, there were 4, and I can't remember what county it was, but there were 4 county sheriff deputies that were outside of the school, and they were behind their patrol cars with their pistols pointed at a big building while the shooting was going on, and they were not going in an attempt to engage and, for the correct terminology, neutralize the situation.
Yeah, but with that, you got to remember that this training has changed a lot for police officers in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? And who's to say that they haven't had the new, I mean,
right.
What the hell's the word? Morally, they should, haul ass and go kill the bad guy. But back in the day, that was the thing. Get on the radio, wait for SWAT, and then we'll engage. And we lost a lot of people. That's the reason why you got firemen now wearing all battle gear and following right behind them in the warm zone. That's what we do now. We got Kevlar helmets and fucking vests and all the bullshit with no gun.
Here's the thing, Rick. There's a huge difference now, and this training has been in effect, I'm going to guess, for at least the past 8 to 10 years.
Long?
There's new training to where it first came in that you had to wait for at least a team of 4. You had to have a point man, your 2 side guys, and a guy covering the ass end. That changed, and now it's if you get there, you go. That's all there is to it. It's different, and I don't want to compartmentalize different issues, But since Scotsman's running the chat here, you know, Scotsman's having a domestic with his woman, and I got a gun. I'm going to shoot her. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to do whatever. There's him and her. That's a surround, and hopefully wait it out until a better resolve happens. However, in a public situation, what they're doing now, if you have an active shooter, it is, you get there, you go. You know, I don't completely agree with the one guy going in type deal, because I'll use myself as an example. I show up, I walk through the door, I take a quick peek left, and that son of a bitch is off to my right. Boom, I'm dead. He now has my AR. He now has my ammo. That's the way I look at it. I think that there should be a minimum of 2 so that there's a buffer zone. Let's just call it that, a buffer zone of I get whacked, the other guy has a chance to, you know.
Well, it's not even that you get whacked. I mean, think about it. If you have that buffer, you're covering both angles as you go in, so that you're more likely to walk out alive.
Right.
Yeah, but I understand that. But I'm going to go with the concept of your job, just as much as my job, is to save lives, whether we die or not. We signed up. Like, go fucking kill the bad guy is how I'm thinking.
And I honestly, I can understand that point, and I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not in the military. I've never been in the military. I wish I was. I wish I could be. My eyes are too fucked up, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have been. But, you know, regardless of that, trust me, if something happens, I'm going to be that first responder. And guess what? If I fucking get killed because I'm trying to make sure other people survive, so be it. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to fucking run in there. And if it's me that ends up getting taken out, I get taken out. That's just what I'm going to do. I signed up for that when I said I am going to be the lawful patriot that carries a firearm. That's exactly what I signed up for. I'm carrying a firearm to defend myself and those around me.
That's the words directly out of my mouth, Scotsman. I am the same exact way. Some people asked me, and I did a video on it a long time ago. People asked me, why do you carry a gun? Because I know crimes occur. Crimes are going to occur to me and those around me at any given time. So I need that tool on me at all times. And yeah, I would pony up and probably get involved in a situation that I probably don't need to be getting myself involved with. But if it involves saving anybody, I'm going to do it.
Well, and if that guy could do it all over again, I can guarantee you every day is haunting him right now, because it takes a certain individual to do that, to run to the bullet, you know, and give.
It does.
You know, not everybody can do that.
Razor JB's out there. I don't mean to interrupt you, Rick, but the only reason I interrupt you is because Razor JB makes a very valid point. Some think they're ready. Unfortunately, when bullets fly, they don't know how to react. They don't know. They're not prepared. That's basically what he's saying. And I get it. Now, most of us here, everyone on this panel, I would say at least every single one of us on this panel trains. We practice on a daily basis. We shoot on a daily basis. And we understand the situations that can potentially occur. So we are ready for some kind of situation to happen. Not necessarily that particular situation, but we're prepared. We've done some training. We have an idea of what's going on. And so, you know, we're in that mindset. If something's going to happen, we're ready to do what we got to do. Now, when the moment actually happens, is that saying that we're going to be 100% ready for it? It's quite possible not. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the guy that's going to step up. I told all my guys over the years that has worked for me in this industry, and I've been doing this, like I said, for about 8 years now. every single one of those guys that's ever worked with me, if something was to ever happen, an active shooter walked in that building, I'm going to step up and I'm going to be the guy that's going to run towards the fucking fire and make sure that if I can protect you, I will protect you. And that's just my responsibility as someone that carries a gun. I'm sorry, but that's it. It's a responsibility. If you have a gun and you carry a gun, you should be, one, proficient in what you do, practice what you do, understand what you do, and be ready to step up and do what you got to do.
Yeah. Would you rather be sitting in a corner waiting for somebody to come at you, or would you rather take the fight to them?
I'd rather take the fight to them.
I'm sorry, but and reloading will tell you that in the state of Ohio, and the state of Ohio is kind of fucked up. If you can get away, if you can run, if you can flee, you have to do so in the state of Ohio.
Yes. If you have an exit, you are to go to the exit. If you are in a corner,
Now, with that being said, if I'm in fear of my life, even if I have an exit, that's kind of a technicality to where that law can technically be,
okay, so what
one
you're
side
saying,
of the other.
Just so I have clarification from both of you guys, in Ohio, let's say that for whatever reason, you guys work at the same gun store, you're at the top floor to where you have a fire escape to where you can go down and out the backside. No. I come in and I start blasting the people downstairs. You're not allowed to engage me. You have to go out the exit and run.
Correct.
Well, I don't know if a fire escape.
If I'm downstairs, for example, when you come in blasting, even if I can make it to those stairs, I technically have the right to defend myself at that point because I'm in fear for my life.
Yeah, there's a little technicality in there with Ohio law. You have to, the way they put it is, in my business, I have a front and a back door and a hallway that connects the two. But if I am off in the office area and someone comes in, I can defend myself. If I'm in my work area, I can defend myself. But if I'm in the hallway, I am to retreat out of the back door. Now, I don't think a fire escape would qualify for a legitimate exit away from the danger, especially if you are armed and someone is assaulting you and threatening your life. I believe in Ohio that would be justifiable completely. I have two of my best friends are officers. I train with them. I learn from them. I shoot with them, and I always ask questions with them about these types of situations because I train to be on the defensive. I always look for something to start happening because of the crazy world around us. I don't want to have to use my tool. I don't want to have to. But if it comes down to me or somebody else, I'm going to put what training I have to good use.
And that's the way I think a lot of people are on the same page with you. I just can't see, I guess that's because where I'm at, but I can't see that if you have the ability to save lives, that if you had an alley of escape versus to go help to save the lives, you may be held liable for your actions of trying to save the lives instead of retreating. That blows my mind.
And you know what, Blue? I'm going to be the first one to say it on here, and I'm sure Reload will back me up on this. You know what? If you fucking prosecute me for fucking standing up and saving lives, go right ahead, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm going to be the one guy that steps up and says, you know what? Fuck you. If I can save lives, I'm going to save them. You want to put me in jail?
And we have plenty of people who to give us commissary money to make our peanut butter and ramen specials all day long, and I will be more than happy to eat out of a commissary to protect my life, a loved one's life, or an innocent life that does need protecting. More than willing.
And they'll break it down in the court system. You know just as well as everybody, Blue. They'll break it down in the court system and take a 3-second fraction of time and make it a 3-month-long drug out process where they'll analyze every little possible scenario that could have happened. And if you just didn't take that one option, they're going to prosecute you.
In the state of Ohio, it's probably more like 6 to 12 months because we have the duty to retreat. So if we can technically retreat, we have to do so. Now, if myself or, for example, Gene reloading from the hot pot was to step up and do what we need to do, because that's what we would do as patriots of this country, that's what we're going to do. We're going to step up and defend the lives of others. In the state of Ohio, they will literally, what you basically said right there, but they will make it go for 6 months, 12 months, whatever they got to do, because they're going to analyze it to the minuscule amount, because they want to prove that we had that duty to retreat, that we were able to retreat. And if we were able to retreat, we're getting locked up, we're getting cuffed up, we're getting guns taken away, gun rights gone, everything, felony, the whole 9 yards.
See, there's the same principle here in lies. You have so many states right now where it is absolutely illegal for anybody to have a firearm on school grounds. Let's take what happened in Florida, put it in any other state. A teacher steps out the door and blasts that son of a bitch after the first 2 shots goes off. Who in their right fucking mind is going to, number one, prosecute that teacher for having a gun on school grounds? And what jury in their right mind is going to uphold a guilty verdict? I mean, God, I mean, what is it? Carried, or rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6 or whatever?
But exactly. And I'll tell you right now, in my previous job, in my previous company, I was not allowed to carry. No, was I carrying? Fucking A, was I carrying. You know I was carrying every goddamn day. Because you know what? I deal with people that have no clue what the hell they're doing. I deal with crazy-ass people. They walk in the door, they want to buy a gun. Half of these people are ready to freaking steal the damn gun if they could. You never know what's going to happen. You have to be prepared. You have to be on top of it. And you have to be ready to step up. If you're not ready to step up, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have a gun, period.
No, I read a statistic not long ago that said the most armed robberies actually occur in big cities at gas stations while you're pumping your gas. That's where car thefts, armed robberies, and things of this nature occur.
ATF Sucks is out there, and he has a good question. Does Ohio still have the duty to inform an officer if you're carrying? Yes, we do.
Yes.
Now, I will say this also. When they run our plates, if we get pulled over, for example, if they run our plates, they will know automatically that we have a license. Mm-hmm. So the minute they walk up to our window, we have to inform them. If we do not inform them, it is automatically a misdemeanor for not informing them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. So it's not a, do you have a weapon? Yes, I do. It's, officer, I have a weapon, or you're charged.
Yes.
Yeah, it's automatically a misdemeanor. If you do not have your hands on the fucking wheel or your hands out the window, officer, I'm carrying. It's on my right-hand side. It's on my hip at 3 o'clock. It's a misdemeanor.
Bam.
Yeah, they can charge you for not informing them. And that happened because of some idiots who didn't tell an officer they were carrying. The officer failed to request if they were carrying. They get out. Now they've got a gun on their side, and the officer freaks out and draws his weapon. You know, so I think it's just pure courtesy to inform an officer that you are carrying if you are getting pulled over for any type of infraction. It's just common courtesy. You know, I would do it regardless.
We've talked about this on one of my chats before. I got pulled over in Georgia, and I informed the officer, hey, I'm carrying. And his fucking partner flipped the fuck out because I was carrying and pulled a gun on me and fucking pointed right at me. Like, I took the time to say, hey, dude, I got a gun. I'm legally carrying a fucking gun. And his partner freaked out because I said I got a gun.
Now, can I ask you this?
Should have said gun.
Did you fucking request a supervisor? Did you call the station commander? Did you do anything? Or did you just go with it?
I requested the supervisor, and I talked with the supervisor, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Because that's, I mean, that type of shit in our, I mean, God, I'm not going to, I mean, I realize this is a new chat, a new channel. I don't want to get into the old stories that I told on.
Put it this way. It did not go well for that person.
Good. And that's the fucking way it should be. Because I've had that same thing. And there again, you know, I've been on the job 18 years. I get a guy that's on the job for a week and he gets a peek of a gun on somebody's hip and somebody's glove box and somebody's whatever. Holy shit. I mean, it's me going, all right, you don't touch it. Don't touch yours. I won't touch mine. I mean, we're having a conversation about it. And Junior on the other side of the fucking car is hopping around like a fucking Easter bunny on meth because, oh my God, there's a gun. There's a gun. It's like, dude, chill the fuck out. We're okay. It comes with time. I mean, it's got to be I don't know. You said the guy you dealt with was a junior guy or a rookie or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I guarantee you he was a rookie,
Yeah.
and he was the guy that called in on his partner. He called in, he showed up, and immediately the minute I said, "Hey, you know, guys, just FYI, I have a license, I have a gun, I'm legally carrying. It's on my right side. It's at 330 position." This fucking guy just freaked the fuck out, pulled his gun out, fucking put it on me, and I'm like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, and that's bullshit. I mean, that is 100% bullshit. And me as a cop talking to you guys would hope that that son of a bitch was at least suspended. Suspended, not terminated, suspended, gone through some type of remedial training that, all right, this guy just fucking told you he had a gun. Is this the guy you need to worry about? Or is it the guy in the back seat that doesn't tell you that they have a gun and he's making movements up underneath his, you know.
Well, here's the thing too, Blue. I literally put my hands in the air and was like, dude, I got a gun. It's right there. It's at 3:30. And I pointed to it. I didn't fucking move my hands. I didn't do this number. I said, here's my fucking hands. Here's my fucking gun. I have a license. I'm legal. And that was it.
See, it's the same thing because I'll tell you, I've been on the job for 18 years up until probably the last 10 years. Like the first couple of years, every time anybody ever said gun, it was like, holy shit, you know, somebody drops a glove box. Holy shit, opens a center console. Your heart starts beating if they don't tell you about it, you know. And then it went to, okay, you have a gun. Let me, you know, just for you know, so that I don't have to call in 35 guys, you know, I'm just going to take control of your weapon until we're done with the stop. I'll give it back to you. You're on your way. Till now, the way I do it is literally somebody says, hey, look, I got a concealed weapons permit. The gun's in the glove box on my hip, wherever. It is now, all right, let me see your let me see your permit. The permit looks cool. I'm like, all right, you don't touch yours, I don't touch mine. And I go back to my car. I mean, I keep an eye on them, of course, but I'm not worried about the person that's telling me, look, I got a gun. You're stopping me for running a red light, running, doing whatever, doing this. That is not a threat to me. But I mean, I realize shit can turn sideways quick, but use your fucking heads.
Yeah, and that was the problem.
I wouldn't even say gun, though. I would honestly say a firearm.
Well, I mean, I just fucking said it here in the chat, but I was like, dude, I got a firearm. It's on my fucking side, you know. I was being good about it. The fucking guy just freaked the fuck off.
Gun is definitely the number one answer. I don't know if people just lose their shit and they're just like, I got a gun. Well, Rick, were you on TR's chat the day that I stopped that kid? He was like 18 or 19, and his dad left the pistol in the center console, and he's like, oh yeah, I got a gun. He reaches for it, comes across his body, coming toward the window where I'm at. You talk about almost peeing a little bit in my pants. Number one. Number two, I had enough sense that this was a young kid and I didn't fucking shoot him where he sat. But it was like, oh my God, I've never yelled and screamed so hard in my fucking life. I took his gun because it wasn't his, it was his dad's. But I took it and I was like, you have your fucking dad call me the instant you get home and we'll make arrangements. But oh boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know.
I think
I've been stopped a couple of times while carrying, and I've said this before, but I don't care if I'm in a state where it's a duty to inform or not. That officer is going to know that I'm carrying a firearm as soon as possible. In Arizona, when I lived in Arizona, I'd get stopped, and both times immediately I roll my window down and I put both my hands out the window. So before they're even out of their car, they can see my hands. And that's exactly where my hands are staying until they come up. And one of the officers, I was hoping the Blue would stay on and hear this, but one of the officers walked up to the car and he goes, "Oh, you must have a firearm in the vehicle." I said, "Yes, sir, I do." "Where's it at?" "It's down here in the pocket of the door." And I didn't move my hands. They were out the window. And he goes, "Okay, well, just like Blue said earlier, you don't touch yours, I won't touch mine." All right.
And that's exactly how it is. And Gun Battle has a good question out there. If he gets pulled over, if he's in California and he gets pulled over with an Arizona permit, are they going to know? Well, no. It's only the state that you're in, that you actually reside in, if they have that linked to your registration. So Ohio, for example, it is linked to your registration. So if you get a concealed carry permit, if they run your plates, automatically they know you have a concealed carry permit. And if you get pulled over, the first thing that they will ask you once they actually get to your window is, do you have a firearm? And your first words out of your mouth before they even say that is, "Officer, I have a firearm. I have a concealed carry permit. I am 100% legal. It is at 3 o'clock on my body, on this side of my body, and that's where it is, and my hands are right fucking here."
Yeah, and that's in. I left for there for a second, but I heard mostly of what you said. But you know, and that's exactly it. In any, what I'm going to say, I don't care if we want to call ourselves constitutionalists, if we want to call ourselves this, if we want to call ourselves that. Any responsible gun owner, responsible being the key word, is going to do exactly what the crazy Scotsman just said. Your hands are going to be where they can be seen. I don't care what the reason for the stop is. Headlights out, stoplight out, whatever. If you have a gun, just say, even if you're like our state, we're not duty to inform shit. But if you open that glove box and I see the butt end of a fucking pistol coming out, we're going to have some problems if you don't tell me. But if you're a responsible gun owner, I have a gun. It is center console on my hip, in my glove box, wherever. All right, well, thank you for letting me know that. I need your information. First is going to be, the license and the CCW. And the biggest issue I think that we probably have is the gun is in the center console or in the glove box, and that's where my registration and insurance card is. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to come around to that side. I'm going to take your gun, and I don't care if people like this or not. I'm going to take your gun for a couple seconds. Will you grab your registration and insurance, and I'm going to place it right back into the glove box. I don't need to take your gun away from you. But sometimes people have issues. Well, you're not touching my gun. Well, you're not fucking grabbing your registration and insurance. Let's come to a compromise. Nobody needs to be an asshole. I don't need to take your gun from you. Let's just work through it and get the hell out of here.
Now, to somebody like me, Blue, that's completely understandable. I do carry a truck gun. My registration stuff's not there with it, but if it was, I would keep my hands in plain view. I would let you take possession of my firearm for that minute so I can grab my information. And that is, like you said, that is being a good citizen. Mm-hmm. If you're a responsible gun owner and you are a good citizen, someone that is not up to any no good, you're not gonna cause any conflict in the situation whatsoever.
Hey, kind of to keep going with the whole vehicle thing. When you have like an app, when you have a concealed permit and you're going to go drive around or whatever, different states, It'll tell you about, in the vehicle kind of stuff. So say you bring in a shit ton of guns, right? You're going to the farm, and I mean a fuck ton of guns. You don't want them not concealed, right? They're in bags or whatever. Like, how does that work with the rules? Because it sounds like when you go to some states, you almost have to have them like just laying on the back of your truck.
All right. So the best thing you can do if you're going from state to state is simply have the magazines separate from the firearm, have the ammunition separate from the firearm and the magazines, and keep them all separate in locked cases in separate places, period.
Yeah, but say you got 12 rifles in your car. And you have them in the bag. You have them in the bags. Those are concealed weapons.
No, they're not concealed if they're in a bag and they're in the trunk. That's not a concealed.
No, there's no trunk. I don't own a car. I own a truck, a man's vehicle.
Well, even then, so for example, I got pulled over in what was it? Fucking Illinois. I got pulled over in Illinois for being 4 miles an hour over the fucking speed limit. I shit you not. 4 miles an hour. I got fucking pulled over. The cop pulls me over. He fucking sits there and he starts talking to me. And I had all my shit in the back of my truck. And I had all my guns behind my seat. Now I have no fucking top on the back of my truck. I don't have the fucking bed cover or whatever the fuck you call it. I don't have that shit. None of that shit. I have all my fucking regular crap in the back of my truck and all my guns behind my seat. And he pulls me over and he's like, dude, what are you doing? Where are you going? What's going on? And I explained to him, I'm in the process of moving. I'm in the middle of a job transfer. He's like, do you have firearms? I'm like, yes, sir, I have firearms. He's like, do you have the right to own them? Yes, sir, I have the right to own them. Where are they? They're right behind me. Are they loaded? No, sir, they're not. And I kid you not, this guy kept me on the side of the road for 45 fucking minutes. And it was a total bullshit pullover. But 45 minutes, and he asked me probably 20 times the same fucking questions over and over and over again. Now, the only reason that he could not hold me there or he could not do anything was simply because every single time I answered the same fucking thing. Yes, sir, I have the right to own them. Yes, sir, they are in a locked case. Yes, sir, the ammunition separate. All of that stuff. Just whenever you're driving from one state to the other state, unless you have a permit that says that you can carry in this state, this state, this state, and this state, you better make sure all your shit's fucking separate.
I think traveling, I would just separate mine anyways. I've got a Honda Ridgeline, which has the trunk in the bed. So whenever I load up any more than just 1 or 2 rifles, even if I'm just going to my local range, I put them all in my trunk because when you close that trunk, it locks. So there's no way I'm going to get to that trunk very easily. So I just keep everything inside there. And then gives me a safe place to keep everything in case I would get pulled over.
Whoa, but here's the problem. Say you have a truck. Here you have a truck. And it's got the extra part, the extra crew cab or whatever, right? If you have a bunch of guns, no, I mean a bunch, I'm just saying like 10 guns, right? And you have them laying on the seat in the back, right? Because that's the only place they'll fit. But you're going, say you're driving through town and you stop to go eat lunch. I throw like a blanket or something over that shit. Those are considered concealed, but is it a non-zippered, or if it's zippered, it's still considered concealed unless the cop's smart enough to know that's a rifle, but it's still concealed.
Technically, yes, and technically, no. And what I mean by that is you have them in a place where you cannot access them easily or readily. And what they class as a concealed firearm is something that you can access that is loaded and you can access it readily when you need it. That is technically how it's classed. So with you having it in a case, in a zippered case, behind you, that is not technically concealed.
Now,
blue, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of how it
state
is.
by state. It is 100% state by state because we had, and I'm not going to say which jurisdiction it was, but there was a jurisdiction in Pennsylvania that was having a 2A rally. And there were actually some dipshits that were promoting the ideal that if people drove to this rally for an open carry and they didn't have a CCW, that the officers in that jurisdiction could just start making an arrest. Because in Pennsylvania, the only way you're allowed to have a gun in your car without a CCW is you're on your way from your house to the range, you're on your way from the gunsmith to your house, or where you purchase it at to your house, or from the gunsmith to the range to the house. It's got to be those. It's very, very specific. A lot of people out here are saying, well, what if you have the bullets locked up separate from the pistol or separate from the rifle? I don't care what it is, even if it's a goddamn turkey gun. You guys better make sure you check the laws, because there are a lot of loopholes. So, I mean, it's
you got to be careful. And I'll give you a prime example. So when I went to Shootapalooza in Minnesota, driving through X amount of states, I'm 100% legal with the permit I had. When I crossed one state, going to the other state, I was not legal whatsoever. And so in the middle of going through 3 states and hit this state, I got to stop, take my firearm out before I cross the border, unload my firearm, lock up my ammunition, lock up my firearm, put my firearm away and make sure it's all separate and all that bullshit, and then drive through that fucking state before I can then take my firearm back out, reload my firearm, put my firearm back on my hip.
Yeah, but I will say what I said was to the extreme. If you run into the wrong person with the wrong district attorney, even if let's say you have your guns in your gun bags, you're in a truck and it's raining, so you have your guns in your gun bags, you have your ammo in different bags in the same compartment, you're fucked. I mean, and I hate saying it, it's officer dependent plus district attorney dependent, but that's what it runs. That is exactly what it boils down to.
Well, I'll give you a prime example of that. And the prime example is, all right, in the state of Ohio, you cannot have an automatic knife. And anything that is a spring-assisted knife will literally come down to the officer that pulls you over. If he decides that is a automatic knife, guess what? That's an automatic knife.
So it all boils down to just politics.
Yep.
Exactly.
And an opinion.
Who thinks they have the biggest nuts?
Someone's opinion basically is what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's it. And I've told people for years, I've lived in the state of Ohio back and forth for the last 4 years. And Ohio is one of those states where you got to be really, really careful, because they will fuck you the instant they can.
Well, almost every state laws are written to be interpreted in so many different ways. Here in Iowa, when I'm looking at what knives I can carry as secondary backup weapons or whatnot, the way the law is written does not specify or exclude anything other than ballistic knives. But under my concealed weapons permit. But if I don't have a concealed weapons permit, it excludes all kinds of other different knives. So
right,
I wasn't sure if I could have automatic knives. I wasn't sure if I could have bill of songs any of that sort. And so I asked 4 of my local officers, hey, I've got a concealed weapons permit. Can you tell me what knives I'm able to carry so that I don't go buy a bunch of knives that I'm not going to be able to carry? And the way the law is written is it's only written for those that don't have their concealed weapons permits. And so if I go to look it up anywhere, I go to look up the laws, it doesn't tell me that I'm allowed to carry this, that, or the other thing with my concealed weapons permit.
And that's another thing, guys, you got to be careful of is some states have a concealed weapons permit, which means you can carry anything you want to carry. Other states, like the state of Ohio, have a concealed handgun license. You can only conceal a handgun. You cannot conceal any other weapon or you will be in fucking shit. You literally have the only right you have in this state is to conceal a handgun. You have no other right, period. In the state of Georgia, where I was before I came back out to Ohio, I can conceal whatever the hell I want. I can conceal a fucking sword. It don't matter. If I want to walk down the fucking street with a fucking samurai sword in my back, I can do it. It's legal, 100% legal.
You're right. Mine says Ohio license to carry a concealed handgun.
Yeah, you have to be very, very careful. And I will tell you right now that one of the things that I'm dealing with at work is I am going through and fixing all the forms of the 4473s that have been done since the store opened. And there's probably about 1,000+ forms that I'm dealing with right now. And a lot of the issues that I'm seeing is it says CCW, which is an in-house fix. But it's not a CCW. It is a CHL. A CCW says I can carry whatever the fuck I want to carry. CHL says I can only carry a handgun, period. And Ohio is very, very particular, and you have to be careful. If you get pulled over in the right county in Ohio and you're carrying something else that you ain't supposed to be carrying, guess what? You are fucked.
That includes the AR style pistols. Like my AR-45, I'm not allowed to conceal carry that. Not that I would. I mean, that thing's huge, but
I gotta go, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate the invite. I gotta go get something done.
have a good night, Rick.
What's going on, brother?
See you later, man.
Awesome job, guys, and congrats again.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Definitely is an honor.
But yeah, you just got to be careful. You make sure you understand the rules, the regulations of every state that you reside in. It's different, every single one. And I've driven across this country multiple times. And you got to be careful. And I've been pulled over for the dumbest shit in every fucking state I've ever crossed.
How about this, Scotsman? I got pulled over in Georgia a mile from the next state line for doing 1 mile an hour over the speed limit.
Yep, I've been pulled over for that too.
56 and a 55.
I got pulled over once for backing up into a police car.
Hold on. Whoa. First off, Gene, I've been pulled over for the same fucking shit, which is total bullshit, in the state of Georgia. And second off, Jen is gay. What the fuck?
Well, hey. the story is true. I had gotten off of work. I had closed the store. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was going to go stay over at one of my buddy's houses. And so I'm heading over towards his house, and he comes around the corner and pulls into the gas station at the corner. And this is in a little sleepy town. I'm driving a little old Toyota pickup truck with a camper shell on the back of it. I throw it in reverse and I just start to go back up thinking there's nobody back there at all because this is middle of the night in this place. And I look up in my rearview mirror and realize the drapes were closed on the camper shell. So about the time I look over at the side mirror, wham, I'm like, what the hell? And I look back over and all I see is a door open up. It says police department.
I actually, I rear-ended an unmarked state trooper's car on the ice. So it was a multiple car collision, but I just happened to be the one that nailed that car. So I've,
All right,
happens.
so I have a question for Blue. Blue, if, for example, Janice Gay happened to do that to you, what is the reaction?
You mean if they're backing up and hit you?
If say Janice Gay happened to back up and hit you, and be careful with the words here, because if Jan's backing up and he's hitting you, you got some issues.
Now, depending on that's happened more times than not. I was actually investigating a hit and run at a local parking lot and got backed into by somebody else, and they tried to leave. That didn't work out real well for them. But no, basically, if you back out and you hit somebody, you're going to get a ticket. I mean, and if you don't get a ticket, that means that you hit the brakes just in time to see them, and there might have been a little scuff mark.
All right, so worst case scenario, Janice Gay is backing up and just happens to fucking hit the living piss out of you. What happens?
Oh, well, no, nothing. I mean, other than a ticket, nothing. You give them their ticket, they're on their way, and if your car's drivable, you go on your way.
Yeah, I had that night there was a senior officer and what was clearly a rookie jump out of the car, and the senior officer comes up to my window yelling, screaming at me, "What the fuck, are you fucking drunk?" And I'm like, "No, officer, I just got off of work." And by this point, the rookie's up at the passenger window with his mag light in the window. And he's like, "What's that?" And he shines behind the seat of the truck. And I'm like, "You mean that Strawberry Boone's Farm bottle that has like 800 cigarette butts in it? That's my ashtray." Yeah, he wasn't a happy camper. And yes, I was handed a ticket for unsafe backing. Mm-hmm. Now I went down the following day to pay said ticket at the department, and they're like, Oh, that's you, huh? Okay, hang on just a minute here. They brought everybody out of the department to come and point and laugh at me.
And hold on 1 second. I have to stop everybody right here. Everybody point at Janice Gay and laugh at him right fucking now.
Oh shit! If that ever happens to anybody in the future, you back up and then all of a sudden the overhead lights come on. The first thing you should do is jump out of your car immediately. Be like, "What the fuck are you doing parked behind me?"
Well, here's the biggest thing with this, and this is the one you got to watch for. Is all right. You have Janice Gay. Janice Gay said he's backing up. Guys, don't be anywhere near Janice Gay when he's backing the fuck up. Get the fuck out of there.
You never know how hard I'm going to hit you when I'm backing up. I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus. All right. With that being said, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark.
Actually, it's about an hour.
We are keeping this in the tradition of the TR chat. We start late, we finish early.
Oh, he never.
With that being said, Gene, reloading from the hot pot. Would you like to do an outro, brother?
Yes, I would. I would like to thank you very much, Scotsman, for inviting me into this Sunday night roundtable chat. It's quite an honor. Blue, Jan, great to be on here with you. All the watchers out there, everybody in the chat, thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. And now I'll hand it back over to Blue.
Is my mic off? My mic is off. No, same thing over here. We're gonna go this. I don't know what side of the window you're on from me, so I don't know if I'm pointing the opposite way or the same way. But no, it was a great time tonight, guys. Whenever I heard that TR had handed the torch off, it hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because it's his chat, but I've been there damn near every fucking night. And I was like, Scotty's going to do it. You know, I like Scotty. We've been back and forth. I'm like, I wonder if he's going to send me an invite. So it was one of those deals.
Dude, I will tell you right now, brother, you have an invite every week, whether if you want it or not. You got it.
Outstanding. Because this has been my Sunday night for about 2 years. I know TR's been doing a little longer than that, but about 2 years, this has been my Sunday night, hanging out with you guys, bouncing ideas back and forth. Jan, good to see you. You know, I'm just playing with you. Good to see you again.
I intend to make sure that I do this justice for TR, and not just for TR, but for everyone that did the Sunday night chat before TR. I want to continue this on, and I want to make sure it is done in the right fashion, in the right manner, and that's all it is. And for me, one of the biggest things, the biggest components of that is having Blue on here every week.
Well, as long as I'm not working or got other shit to do, which is very rare on a Sunday night, I'll be here. But thanks for the invite. It was a great chat, and congratulations to the both of you on your new child, and hopefully we can be around to see it develop into at least a 5-year-old. Let's go 5 years on this.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. And with that being said, Jan is gay. Would you like to do your outro, brother?
Sure. Why not, Scotsman? Yeah, Blue, as long as I've been watching the Sunday night chats, you've been a staple, and it would have never been the same without you. In the very, very rare circumstances where you weren't able to make it, it just wasn't the same. So yeah, you're a staple on this, and I think we need you. Reloading from the hot pot, what can I say? I'd like to thank everybody out in the side chat, everybody that showed up. It's been a great historical evening. I'm really, really glad that TR handed this to us. It's got an illustrious history for this time slot. And thanks everybody for showing up. Keep the magazines loaded and one in the chamber.
All right. And with that being said, guys, I really do appreciate everyone in the side chat. I appreciate everyone showing up. I think, honestly, we had a big number going on. We had at least 49 at one point. So, guys, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you show up next week. There will be more structure. There will be more politics. There will be more bullshit. That's what we do. But in all honesty, like I said at the beginning of this, I want to make sure I continue this in the same fashion that TR has done over the years, and everyone else that has had this before TR. So there will be some structure, whether you like it or not. I do not intend to have a shit show every week. It may end up turning to that at some point, but it's not what I intended to be. So anyway, with that being said, guys, I do appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, and ATF sucks.